Welcome to the Old Boar Plays City Skylines. This is a tutorial series all about Railway 2 train networks, where I'm putting in functional railway infrastructure. And in this video, I'll be putting in the NEC Portal North Bridge network pack. You'll also need to subscribe to Portal North Power Line and Decoratives Network and Prop Pack, and the Railway 2 Amtrak Catenary Pack. In the previous video, we broke down this 4-track line to a 2-track line and then to another individual 4 single tracks to bring out this manually made turnout to a 2-track line. And I overlapped one of the tracks. You hold down Alt, select this node with Move It, and move this out. You'll see that this track is the real outside track. This is nodeless, one-way wired track, 1 by 1. And when you choose the catenaries, this Railway 2 USA NEC Pennsylvania Railroad single catenary. There's no catenary poles on this particular asset. If you upgrade this here, you'll have to have anarchy on. If you upgrade this track here, it'll put in the wires. You see the wires came in. This is the true outside track. This is the inside track, which doesn't need a catenary or wires. And we need to add the wires between this catenary and this one as well. Make sure your arrows are still pointing in the same direction, and now you have the wires stretching across between these. Now with Move It, we'll snap in our track again. We might take this node and move it slightly out. And then snap this one back into place. We might take this node, align it a little more correctly. This is the fine detailing that you can do with these train tracks. This line here is coming straight into this track. You can see this particular rail is not lining up, so we'll bend it a bit. I'll be coming across this highway, and I'll be putting in the Portal North Bridge, which uses Dynamic Procedural train tracks. It also has a 2-track or a 4-track version, And I'm thinking about bringing in the 4-track version. But before I do that, I want to show you a train running on this actual connection we made with nodeless track. This is the node here. This is the node where all of the 4 tracks are coming into 2, and I don't want to delete that. And I'm going to put in a little train station here so that you can see this working. I'll select Railway to USA, wired gravel concrete, 2x2, standard entry, ground level. We'll move this back just a bit. And we'll connect up our tracks. This is noted 2x2. If you're very close to connecting those, you want to check your connections again. They're all fine. I'm going to be able to unpause the game during this session because in the previous session, I'm calling it off camera because I made adjustments to the cities. I was going to keep those off camera, but I decided to show you everything I do in the game. So now we'll put in a train line. Our train is spawned. And we'll follow this train through the connection. You see that it's crossing over here and there's no actual crossover track. The Dynamic Procedural tracks also fix that. Very smooth turnout. If you're ever going to delete a train station, delete the line first. Since I'm going to be using the procedural tracks, I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this out, all the way up to the train station. I might not want to do this one with move it, Sometimes if I really want to make sure the game AI is understanding what I'm doing, I delete those with the bulldoze tool. Not this bulldoze tool, but the other one. And I'll go ahead and delete this other one, and I'll show you how these bypass stations connect up fully using the procedural networks. The icons with the brown background are the procedural dynamic tracks. This one has the power lines that carry above the tracks. This one is just regular 4-track dynamic procedural network. I also want to trim this back a section. Now if you look below the wires, you'll see that crossing over from this outside track to the inside track has a track that takes it across. It's quite a complex connection. Now I'm going to take the procedural track again, carry it out. I might use the freeform track tool to connect it to the other line. I want to check the other side to make sure I don't have buffers in there. Before I carry out a 4-track turnout, I want to put in my bridge because I want to make sure that I'm having smooth track between my turnout and my bridge. This is the Portal North Complex, Railway 2. It also has the European and the USA set of base props. So in order to not get an error on your loading screen mod, you'll need to download the European base props as well. If you wanted a 2-track bridge, you would use this set. This is the 4-track set. I'm going to raise the height. You hit your home key, that's ground level. But I'm going to raise my height up to 26 feet. You'll also need to put on bridge. Make sure you have anarchy on. And you'll want straight track. Now you'll notice that at 24 units, it's one unified piece. If you go to 25 units, it puts in 2 arcs, and they're a little bit bowed. They're bowed very high. So I might come a little closer. I want my 24 units to be on either side of the river evenly. I also want it to be fairly parallel to the highway. So I'm just going to plop that down. Then another 24 units. And I want to make sure that on the place where I'm coming out from, I see 180 degrees. This bridge is not very high because I'm coming in at ground level, but I'll show you what the bridge looks like if you raise these pillars up. You can see those nice pillars coming in. You also have a node in the center of these, so if you're going to do any leveling, you'll need to remember to level that center node. This bridge has dynamic procedural train tracks installed into it, which means you can use Traffic Manager President Edition to assign lanes. But we'll be coming out of this turnout 4-track dynamic procedural tracks. Railway 2 Procedural USA Wired Gravel Concrete 4x2. You'll want to force ground because this is going to put a multiple connection on the end of this bridge. I'm going to keep my level at 26 feet. And you can see that this connection is allowing you to choose which way you want all of these rails to come into the bridge. Of course, this isn't a realistic connection. Nevertheless, we're coming out of this 4-track passenger line, 2 directions going this way on this side and 2 directions coming this side. So open up Traffic Manager President Edition, use the lane connector, click your node, and I want to take this line to here. You'll see the directional arrow. And I want to take this line to here. You've noticed that those train tracks have disappeared. This is the great advantage of using the procedural dynamic tracks. Now I want to take from this side to here and from this side to here. And you'll notice that the 2 arrows are facing the direction we want, and these two arrows are going this way. Continue to use this kind of track. And I want to take a curve, hit the home key and bring your cursor down to 0. I want to take a curved track out of this 4-track passenger line. I'm going to come up 1, 2, 3 nodes, click, and start to bring out my line. This line is at 26 feet. If you click on that track, you'll see the 26 feet up here. Might have to get a little closer. That's 26 feet. And because I've leveled out the map, we know we're at about 180 here. So I want to bring this up using force ground, straight track. I'm going to come up 18 units. 9 units is a full segment. And I want to bring this up to 26 feet. This is a sharp down angle, but we'll fix that. The dynamic procedural tracks do not have a bridge unit. They don't put bridges in, and we want to bring a bridge across here, and that means we'll be using Railway 2 normal. Normal noded 4x2. And we'll force bridge mode. We'll bring this across at a 180-degree angle. The 2 pillars that are touching the road are not going to come in. If your pillars are touching the road or the little gravel space on either side of the road, they won't come in. And if you look on the other side, this particular pillar that's in the center of these 2 should come in because we're not touching the road in any way. I want to put this straight in the middle. You see the pillar there. The other 2 pillars did not come in. Now we want to stretch this across. You might want to take a look at your track and see where you're going to bend to. A good curve would be from here. Now I'm going to use the freeform track tool. You could use the curve tool. We'll try both. I'm going to click on the track, come up to where the precision engineering line starts to show up. And I'm just going to connect these two together. You see how that the outside curve, once it makes the connection to the node, we're still curving a bit. You might want to try the curve track tool. This is a straighter connection. This little problem that we've created here can be fixed. We're going to try and move it. If your trains run over these tracks, they'll do a little loop once they hit these. You don't want that. So just drag this slightly. See if we can fix that problem there. We also might select this node and come up with page up to see if we can fix this error. It fixes the tracks. And now we need to use adaptive networks. You can see this segment here doesn't have the ability to change the catenary. So if you select this segment here, your adaptive network custom segment flags include USA wires. You saw those come in. Railway 2 style catenaries gives us a catenary that brings the wires across. These are the portal catenaries. You can use either one. These little guardrails put guardrails inside the tracks. This custom 2 is adding something else in the middle here, another catenary. Since I'm using Railway 2 catenaries throughout the map, I'll go ahead and select Railway 2 style catenaries. If you hold down Shift and select the entire bridge, you can see these two are the ones that are selected on one segment. We want to put them all the way across and unselect and put the wires all the way across. We'll get a little bump here, and we can lower this down just a bit. You don't want to see your tracks break apart. Again, on this side, this is a little higher ground than what we have on the other side. So now we'll go back to procedural 4x2, coarse ground, straight track. We want to come out just a bit. I'm going to hit the home key. This is 26 feet, and this is coming up here. You can see it basically brought us to level ground, and then we're going on an up angle. This is okay, but you probably want to have the same level on this side as on this side. I'm going to go ahead and continue to take this track out. And now we'll fix our tracks with the lane connector. We want this direction and this direction on this side. And before we move on, put in a little train station to test this out. I'm going to put in a bypass station instead. And we'll be putting in the 4-track West Haven station. This is a high entry 4x2 bypass. One of the previous videos shows you how to install these and the train tracks. Might trim this back just a bit. And we'll go to our procedural track. Now we'll put in a train line. You can see that the unconnected train line icon has disappeared from the previous train line. It takes the game AI a little bit to catch up with that. Sometimes the train spawns at the other end. Hopefully it spawned here. Spawned at the other end. What we're really looking for is to see this error here. And you can see that the train is jumping over this problem. That's the little loop that I was mentioning before. We're going to try the node controller and changing that to bend to see if the loop still happens. We're going to put it back. We're going to try bend here and see if the loop still happens. Might speed that up a bit. The loop is still happening, but it's happening underneath. It's happening right here. And we'll try nodeless. The nodeless is fixing this, but I want to check my traffic manager. Basically, what it did is it brought this down closer to this connection. And we can check this side to see if the little loop is happening with the trains. This side is fine. I also like to take a little train ride. The bridge is smooth. The turnout is fairly smooth. I want to take this a little slower. It's a fairly smooth turnout. Nice bridge. Smooth coming in. A little bit of a bump there. And we're going to go back. Little bump there, it's a little dip. Really nice. Might take this one down just a bit. Thank you for watching. This old boar plays City Skylines. Take care now.